All right, so here is assignment 6. This week we had to do visual effects. So, assignment says 3 different particle systems for 3 different looks, uses, whatever, and 1 code-based visual effect. And so, for the majority of these, being that I'm in senior project, and a lot of my assignments that I've been doing for this class so far, I have been making things for senior project, technical art, tech art, whatever, fun stuff that I enjoy working with. So I took a very basic setup for the scene that we're gonna have for our kitchen in the game. This is old by now, so it's fine that I mess around and break stuff in here, as long as it doesn't break the actual game. Um, but so this is an old test scene, and I'm going to be using it for this class, probably from now on, um, to show the environment and try and make something that we can actually use in our game instead of the other lighting stuff that we did that other week and just adding stuff to that, because eventually that's going to get cluttered and not look as good, and it won't really be that much help when I have to still move stuff over to the game. Um, so let's get into it. So just a couple extra things that I did. So I just um, followed a thing to make this sort of God ray effect. So it starts off lighter and then goes dark as it goes down. As you can see with this opacity change, I can change the color of it. Oh, wrong one. Let me do this. So you can change the So we can change the color of it. Um, Also, I don't know if you can see, but there's a texture running through it. So let's put that back up to 1 and drop this back down. So it's for like a God ray sort of effect coming through windows, whatnot. So we have this edge fall off. That's the same edge fall off that was in the force field shader. And this is just a clouds texture. Use texture because you can just have it be straight or have the texture, and then you can tile the clouds and change their speed. So it sort of does for like the dust effects and whatnot. But if we bring this in, you can see that it like lights up the ground. Doing this edge fall off determines how much sort of hits on the edge. So yeah, it's nice effect. It's going to be useful for like our windows and whatnot. So I'll put that back over there for now. So let me just go through the scene real quick. So I have the basic floor. I added, this was the snow shader I believe I showed last week. This floor doesn't have that many subdivisions, that's why it's very choppy, but I will work on that. But so I have that just to show like, oh, it's snow. I frosted over the chairs. I have a cup of hot cocoa here with my water shader, with a particle system that I will get into, and then a candle with my fire shader, and then the same particle system but adjusted. So again, so this has 3 particle systems. Oh, and then also these are grapple points, which I will show in a second. Um, and I put the ice shader on them just to kind of give everything the ice. And then I will show the particle systems first and then get into the code-based visual effect. So particle systems first, we can already see that something's going on down here. So if we press play and go down to our little guy, it starts to snow. And this is done by, you can actually look at it. The asset is locked currently, but this is done by spawning a ton of particles. So it takes the position of the camera and creates a box around it, to generate the snow particles. And so we give them the random velocity to kind of just give them the movement, so they go around as if it's like a snowstorm, sort of. Updating the particles so it has a lower gravity than just normal gravity, but that's because we want them to fall slowly and move around a lot more. Then we have like tile and warp positions. That's just so then we can move them and have them sort of blocked off throughout the cube. And then set text index in the orient face camera plane. So this stuff is to use this flipbook of snowflakes that I have, so that the different particles look like 4 different snowflakes, and then they also face towards the camera so you don't like not see them. So every once in a while, a big snowflake will like come right in front of the camera. Um, that's kind of hard to do, so I can just zoom in right now. I believe, yeah. So we can see the small snowflakes, like how they're actual snowflakes, not just little dots. Um, so it's a very, very nice effect. I'll just get close. Yeah, so see right here. But it goes and it surrounds the camera, so then it always looks like it's snowing everywhere. So that is the first one. It's really great because of the amount of particles that the VFX system can support compared to the Shuriken system. And then just swinging on those. I will talk more about the snow in a second. So here is another one. I can actually just watch this one here. It was bobbing up and down. This is going to be a pickup. So this sphere will change for what our pickups will be. But so this is another particle system where it has a light at the bottom, a light going up and down right behind it. So if we move this sphere, you can see how it's like flashing. And then these particles are spawned down here, but they get pulled up to the top. And we can change some things about this. So we can change, say, its color, which is a very nice effect. I like changing color of things. I'm just using default particle. Height is so then we can change how high that glowing part of it is. So we have the ground glow intensity, so that's what's on the ground that gives the like sort of positioning of how it's floating there. There's the particle rate, so I can turn that up a lot. It's capped at I think like 100 out at a time on this particle system, but I can turn it down very small, so it only gets a couple. Particle height, so right now how they're like getting pulled to this position, I can lower it, I can make it higher. And then flare rate, so this is this. So there's a extra one, so I pretty much, it's the floor one but rows up, and then it can like sort of surround the object, but I don't use that one too much. So that is the second one, and I can get up to the smoke in a second. Let me just go back to my player. As you can see, there's a lot of particles. I will turn off the snow just so we can see better. I'm just going to use our debug tool to get up here. So this is the cup of coffee. I have to thank Deirdre because I have to thank Annie and Deirdre because of the assets and also my entire team. So for like this chair, Annie made the chair, Deirdre made this mug, and then the team's been working on just the game in general. So I have to thank them. But so here is, like I said, there's the water, and I made it so it's brown. And there's a little particle system, and it's like just little steam dust clouds coming out of the drink to make it look like it's hot. And then this is a candle, which again has that same like steam effect that I adjusted so then it can go up and like sort of be more stringy, instead of just like cloudy like the other one was. And also it's kind of hard to see, but it's going like a little bit of a sine wave. I can move up to these, get a better look. So again, this one is just a simple little poof of smoke. I can adjust things with it, so we turn the Y up a lot so we can like really see. So you can get like these different effects of like shooting out steam everywhere. So this is the smoke displacement, which I used over here. That's how I did the turn. We can change its color. Do not drink something if it has green smoke coming out of it. It's probably poisoned, to be honest. And then so then there's this one over here. If I can, there we go. So as you can see, it's sort of like shifting back and forth. Let's turn up. So that's what it looks like. It's like line, but it's all these smoke particles coming out. I turned this down to gray because of the alpha, so that it is whiter and you can see through it better. Because that's how smoke usually is with the candles. Again, we have like the velocity and stuff, so we can change how fast it's flowing out. And this particle displacement thing, so if I turn this up, like you can see that it's starting to shoot it out faster to the side. At like 0.5 it brings it back, and now it's like it's moving a little bit, but it's still staying pretty straight up, so that's why I have it about 1. But it gives it a nice like little effect along with the fire. I know there's a little bit more work I have to do with it so it doesn't like seem so jittery. That's how I got that one. But yeah, so for the environment, like I just put frost on the chairs, the snow on the ground. Once we're going to be getting more assets, so I'll be able to really fill out this kitchen and make it like the icy, snowy environment. So real quick on the snow, this upcoming week or next week, I'm going to be doing something with it. I'll try my best where, so right now, if you look at the player and they run through the snow, they kind of just like get sucked into it. That's not fun. That's not how snow works. Typically he would either be on top of it and it would change the mesh collider, which it doesn't. Or what would happen is if he walks through it, it would push the snow to the side. That's the thing I'm gonna try and do, is like if you're walking through it, the way it works is a trail renderer goes behind you and sort of draws a black and white map, and then you put that into the shader, and that will affect like that'll pretty much make the snow where I step go down more. And then I would just add a particle system behind him to have it like snow, like little dust flurries getting kicked up. Hopefully I can get that done, like I said, this week, next week. I'll also probably look into adjusting vertices to make it so that you could even like walk on top of this, because that might be a different effect. I don't know. But speaking of adjusting vertices, now I'm going to go into the one code-based visual effect. So that is the mesh deformer thing that I have right here. And so this one I followed a tutorial with it, and it uses a ray shot out from the camera, and when you click, it deforms the mesh by shifting the vertices around where you're clicking. The cube doesn't do too much since it doesn't have that many vertices, but it still like sort of moves the cube around. I can go like into the sphere, turn the spring force up, no, spring force down, and damping down. Yeah, so it's like we can really move it around and it'll jiggle. Really nice like deformer script that was in that tutorial. One of the things though is like you can really break it if you don't be careful. And then the way you fix it is you turn damping like all the way up and spring force all the way up, and eventually, like I said, eventually it will come back down. And it's a sphere again. But yeah, this was really cool to see like what you could do with just messing with vertices. Um, Now the thing is, I'm gonna try and do this really quick. I have to turn damping down. No, spring force down. One of them just has to go really far down. There we go. So then that, and if I pause it, it doesn't change the collider. So again, that's something that I want to look into is when you change the vertexes or the vertices on an object to adjust the collider to match. Because a lot of shaders and stuff that I've done change where the vertices are, but then the collider still stays as a sphere or a plane, and it doesn't let you. It looks visually good. Mechanically, it does not just work right. So that's something I'm going to look into. So that is my assignment for this week. Thank you.